As we're processing the conversation that we've had together with Abdu and myself, we come to the teaching out of the book of Ephesians, and it's on spiritual warfare. Many people are saying, hey, this is a spiritual warfare. This is a demonic attack when people are taken out this way. And certainly I would agree. Satan wants to destroy lives. He wants to destroy the communication of truth. I don't believe until we get to heaven there's going to be anyone who's going to perfectly communicate all truth in the proper way, because we are human, we are fallible. But in essence, what we have seen, and through cancel culture, through assassination culture, and most recently through the assassination of Charlie Kirk, we see how evil has prevailed, regardless of what political ideology that you hold to. You see, our society tolerates everything except the discussion of God and Satan and how it relates to our physical and spiritual well-being. It is not in vogue to talk about demonic powers or satanic power or other evil entities. But what we find in the book of Ephesians is that Christ died and he rose again, defeating the power of death and darkness. And Paul reminds us that we are in a spiritual battle. And here's the word that he has to say out of chapter 6, verse 10. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, and against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Now, in thinking about spiritual warfare, I want us to consider what both Paul and Peter had to say about our enemy, who is the devil. He says, be self-controlled and alert. I think that talks even about our response to evil, because we don't fight evil with evil. No, we fight evil in the power and authority that we have in Christ, even as Jesus on the cross said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. But Peter had this words to say. He said, your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, looking for someone to devour. Resist him, standing firm in the faith, because you know that your brothers throughout the world are undergoing the same kind of suffering. And he says, no wonder, because Satan masquerades himself as an angel of light. And it's not surprising then that his servants masquerade as servants of righteousness. Their end will be what their actions deserve. That's what we read in 2 Corinthians 11. But may I remind you that the devil and his demons do not portray evil as bad. Rather, it's painted as nice, or cute, or possibly charming. And sometimes we might say, oh, this is the political rightness, so therefore it is justifiable. How many lives have to be killed in collateral damage to justify an invasion into another country? And we use these arguments, but in the end, evil seems to be winning. But the good news is this: you and I can be strong in our faith because Christ has paid the price for sin and darkness. And he tells us, Jesus himself, that we are not to be overcome by evil, but we're to overcome evil with goodness, with his goodness and with his grace. You see, it is the example and the life of Christ, who, when he was on the cross, could say, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. The first martyr of the church, Stephen, could say the same thing. Lord, lay not this sin against their charge. And you and I are called to represent Christ in all his goodness, in all his holiness, and to speak truth.